What's going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today we're going to talk to you about NIO. I want to go over some of the current data points, what short's been up to, and why this might be a squeeze play. So I want to go over all the things that you need to know, but first make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So last video, which was roughly like 2 or 3 days ago, I went over their earnings and how a lot of the data points at the time was starting to change. Because I've covered NIO on and off for a while, one common thing that has always been happening is institutions haven't really given two shits about NIO. And obviously a lot of that has to do with geopolitical issues. Even JP Morgan did state on today, this morning, saying that they are downgrading Chinese stock to neutral on just geopolitical tariffs and whatever else. So just American entities don't like Chinese. So as a byproduct, you typically didn't get that level of buying. But ever since NIO's phenomenal earnings, you see a very nice and impressive amount of buying. So I believe I did a video, I think it was on the 5th. So you saw a good amount of buying at that stage, but even on the following day, and even more so on the dark pool. So a lot of entities are looking at NIO. So these are some of the transactions that did occur on the dark pool, like I said. And I cover quite a few different stocks, different YouTube channels, all different niches, but many of them are heavily shorted. One common thing that did happen on Friday was the fact that shorts were doubling the hell down, but not necessarily in NIO's case. So shorts did return 1.87 million shares on Friday. I know that doesn't seem like all that much, but in general, with the level of fear that is in the market right now, because a fear and greed index is under the fear category, like the appetite for risk isn't necessarily there. So you have shorts doubling the hell down on a lot of stocks, but shorts with NIO, they are starting to wise up. And as I said, even leading into NIO's earnings, you had shorts just lingering around, clearly anticipating negative data. So I feel like shorts have been overextended, so they will be really returning some shares despite a lot of the things that's kind of working against the broader market. Because just in general, on Friday, or I guess this last week, markets got slaughtered. I'm sure everyone knows that at this stage in the game, but NIO did go up very impressively, 21.82%. So I think this is just the tip of the iceberg on how high NIO could essentially go, because even if you look at just the PS ratio for NIO compared to Lucid, Rivian, NIO should be sitting at $10 plus, more so around that $15 range. So that's just my viewpoint. Obviously, you need the market kind of going green and expanding in order for a very nice squeeze to happen. But nonetheless, I do feel shorts will naturally just leave on their own accord over this next couple weeks. Again, my own interpretation. At the same time, if you do see the same level of buying coming from institutions going into next week, you should see very strong support levels being formed. So more of a technical breakout as well occurring with NIO. So once again, let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. A very impressive amount of money was getting into NIO on Friday through options. 12 million in calls, 3.46 million in puts. 49% of all the options being done on Friday were somewhat bearish though. Of the call options that were purchased, you do see a consensus for it to be above roughly that $5.50 to $6 range by the next couple weeks. And then looking at puts, you do see a consensus for it to be sub $4.50. So clearly based on that, there's a little bit more upside anticipated. Options though doesn't necessarily move the stock price. It is just merely a sentiment. One thing as well I wanted to share with you, so I gave a update last video. At the time of me doing that video, there was only 2 new analyst ratings that did come out. You can kind of see quite a lot more did come out since then. So you have a $7.10 one, $6.10, $8, $5, $7. So a lot more analysts are starting to pay attention to it, as the consensus of everything $6.06 is anticipated, and that does work out to be a 20.72% upside from these prices. So still there might be more room for it to go up. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. And as of right now, with it at 502, it landed right above this R1. So going into next week, 501 will be a strong support. Flip side, 524 will be that next strong target / resistance. Kind of had to run a little bit up to that point. So on Friday did have a high of $5.18. So yeah, if it does get above this 524, then it could have a even greater breakout, and which is kind of crazy, right? Because even on Friday, the indexes were getting massacred. NASDAQ went down 2.5, S&P 1.7, Dow 1%. So it was definitely deserving of a round of applause. And as of right now, looking on the actual chart, it is above a lot of the key pivotal moving averages. Stochastic, you do see it at 93, so arguably considered overbought, but I think in reality, a stock could be considered overbought as it does kind of adjust accordingly, in fact. So based on their last earnings, the market is now trying to forecast future growth. So I think this is more of just a necessary adjustment, in my opinion. But at the same time, the first sign of weakness associated to NIO itself, you could see a pullback. Still though, it'd be relatively healthy for just the technicals, bigger picture. But as of right now, with it above a lot of the key pivotal moving averages, the next stop essentially could be roughly around that 355-ish, and that's that 200-day moving average. Momentum shows number of retail investors have been getting in. So like I said, based on my last video, a lot of the data points at the time were all signaling very bullish and kind of more of a further breakout, and no different this time around. So I think a lot of the data points, especially shorts, that was the most surprising of them all, is all looking very bullish. Because yeah, shorts returning on a bloodbath of a week is definitely something to take notice of, right? And because if shorts really did feel that there was no justified reason for NIO to be at these levels, there's more than enough ammunition for them to really double down. Because even right now, there's 650,000 shares available to be shorted. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on NIO. Give yourself a shout out. Have you been buying? Have you been selling? Did you guys dabble with options? Because like I said, 12 million in just calls, 3.46 million in puts just on Friday. And even if we extend that over the last 7 days, a lot of money is getting into NIO through options. So what have you guys been doing? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. One final thing, take advantage of this promo. Simply sign up for a new account, throw $100 at it. They give you 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. So take advantage of this. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.